I remember when I used to spend all day indoors. Like, you didn't even understand, bro. It was my whole life. I never touched grass. I was one of those nerds that didn't have a tan during summer. I was like a vampire, so I'd be like, the sunlight, it burns. I was some like indoor depressing hermit creature, man. Like, my life was so sad. But then something changed. I stopped playing video games. I left my room. I went outside into my garden. I saw the sunlight shining through the trees. I heard the birds chirping. I walked over to my lawn and I kneeled down. I did it. I touched grass for the first time in 5 years. Bro, what is the story of it? I don't know. I started going outside every day, experiencing nature, getting sunlight onto my skin, no longer have a vitamin D deficiency. I was truly, genuinely happy after I started going out into nature. So a few years ago when I was like a full-time gamer, so I'm just sitting in my room on my bed playing Fortnite. Then my dad knocks on my door and I'm annoyed that he's bothering me. I just want to get back to my game and everything. So I take the headphones off and he tells me that him and my brother are going out on their bikes out into the fields. He asked me if I want to come, and at first I'm very reluctant to, because I just want to stay on the dopamine in the video game. But eventually he probably convinces me to come out with him. I turn the game off, I go downstairs, I get my shoes on, get my bike out and we head off. So we're there just in the fields, evening time, sort of sunset-ish, just riding along. I'm actually quite liking it. And I remember we got to a field of cows. We go through the style of a little metal gate. So we get our bikes through that. We walk through the middle of the cows. There's like a gap in between the herd of them. And they all look at us and they all start slowly following us. Probably like 50 cows all watching. And such a weird feeling, all their eyes. Yeah, I just felt like I was being watched so much. So we're not on our bikes anymore, we're pushing them. And then we carry on riding and we get to this field with this sort of cool grass. Here's this stuff here. And there's a little tractor track going through it, riding through it, and then we just stop and we just messing around playing in the grass, me and my brother. We had some Skittles from the shop we'd got and we were like throwing them, catching them in our mouths and everything. Such a happy memory, just being outside, sort of in the sunset, away from the civilization and urban areas. And I still remember it now as one of the happiest memories I've ever had. And that's because at that time, I barely went out into nature at all. Like the closest I got was maybe when my dad forced me out like a time like that, but I rarely went outside. And honestly, at that time, I didn't really enjoy my life outside of video games too much. My life back then was pretty sad, to be honest. I enjoyed the video games, because that was the only thing I really did. I enjoyed the video games, but when it came to not video games, that's when I didn't like it. What I'm saying is, nature is just such a good place to be in. Yes, you can use the law of diminishing returns on it too. You don't have to go out every single day for hours on end into nature. But yeah, you do have other things to do in your life. So try to get 1, 2, 3 hours a week into nature. The first little bit that you put in, that's the most you get out. It's like the 80-20 rule. The first 20% of the effort you put in gets you the first 80% of the results. And the list of benefits of going into nature is so good. And I think I'll go into my second point here. Nature is so good for your mental health. So I lost a clip of me explaining this. So basically a few months ago, late at night, before I'm about to go to bed, my dad brings me this map book with loads of like walks and stuff around my area. So I'm like really hyped up about it and everything. So that morning I wake up pretty early, 7, half 7ish I remember it being. Quite early for me, especially on the weekend. Get out of my bed, I go upstairs, I have a cold shower, I get dressed, I have my breakfast, packed my lunch, I bring like loads of water. My bag was really heavy. So I'm getting ready to prepare and everything. I get my old like flimsy like trainers and I set off, go out my door, I start walking. So I'm in the field that I was with my dad and my brother in the other story. I look into this next field that I've got to go into and I think I get a glimpse of like a chain link fence. So now I'm getting concerned. I'm like, wait, what? Why is there a chain link fence here? Why is there a fence blocking me? I get closer and I get right up next to it and I see that it's all been blocked off by this fence and it's like they turned it into a big quarry sort of. They've been digging up everything. There's no way you could walk through that. Big pools of water everywhere. There's no way you could get through it. So I'm panicking. I'm like, wait, what? Why is there a chain link fence here? I get up to the chain link fence. I go through a little stile, get up right close to the chain link fence. It's blocking this field, and I see on the ground a piece of paper, and you know there's like plastic wallet things all wet on the ground saying that the public footpath has been closed for construction of houses. So I'm like really annoyed at this point. So I started this big hike And then they closed a public footpath because of HS2. So I'm finding a way around now, but like, I can't really find a way around. But they can't legally close a public footpath without creating a diversion. On there, they're saying there's no diversion. You can't come through here. Go a different way. I'm like, wait, what? What? No, that's illegal. That's illegal. So I'm like, I'm gonna create my own diversion. So then I start walking around in between the chain link fence and a hedge. Like, imagine like a big thick hedgerow like that, but it's like made of brambles and thorns. So I start walking in between the chain link fence and that. Brambles everywhere, putting me up. Not an enjoyable experience, like physically. I wasn't actually sure what I was doing. I felt like I was a pretty stupid person for doing it. But I keep pushing for probably about half a kilometre through it. It takes me about a full hour to go half a kilometre. So I'm just pushing through these brambles and everything. And I'm still stuck up in my clothes and everything and in my shoes. And it's not comfortable whatsoever. Farmhouse? That's not good. I want to go like, there's a road over there. Get on the road. I'll go that way. So I get to this point where I'm like, okay, it's another 400-500, because I could see to the very end where I could get out. It's another 400-500 meters to the very end to get out through brambles, and it's even thicker. So it'd take me even longer, it'd be even harder. Or I go through this little gate into a private field, run 100 meters through this private field, because there was a house right next to it and I can see the people in the house. Run 100 meters through this field with these people watching me in private land and get onto a road where I could then join onto where I was supposed to go, where it's not closed. So I have a decision. After weighing it up, I'm like, I'm just gonna sprint through the field. So I start walking fast through the field. I see the people watching me. I don't think they really cared, but I got onto the main road. I didn't even carry on walking. I was standing like right outside their house after I just ran through their land and they could see me. And I was standing there, I was getting all the thorns and stuff out of my clothes and everything, and out my shoes. So I walked down this road for another kilometre or so. No road safety or anything. Walking on the wrong side of the road. I join back up onto where I was supposed to, carry on walking, and my feet just suddenly start killing. Like, it was probably the worst pain I've ever experienced. And I just had to keep trotting on. Every like 10 minutes or so, I'd just sit down for like 5 minutes, just because it hurt that much. So I carry on going. I got my chocolate. It's fine now. But I carry on and I carry on, and I'm eating my chocolate. I'm getting there. I follow the path through again, all the way home. I get home, I'm all muddy, dirty, scratched up, tired. I've been out for like 4 or 5 hours, and I just had a sense of accomplishment. I hated every moment of that because it was hard, but I got back and I loved it. And actually, thinking about it, it was physically hard, yes. I had a feeling of freedom. Being outside, I had a feeling of freedom, and I loved it, bro. When you're inside all day, you're cooped up, you can't see the sky, and you can't see really far away. You're naturally supposed to be in nature and everything, and it just does something to you. And when it's really hard to explain, but like, it's your primal brain and everything. Naturally, when in the primal days when we were cavemen and everything, we'd be living in nature, and it's just like, it does something to you, and you just feel free being outside, and it's such a big benefit to your mental health. So an actionable step for you right now that you can do right now is to go onto Google Maps and just find your closest woods, and then make it a goal by the end of today. Try and do it right now if you can, to go to those woods and explore. Climb a tree maybe. Be free. Act like you have no cares. And then maybe next week, go there again. And just keep going there consistently. If you like the video, I'm going to ask you to like. I'm going to ask you to subscribe. I'm going to ask you to comment. Goodbye.